All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Coming up at the top of the hour, Seth Moulton will be joining us, former Democratic presidential candidate. Trump went after him. So stay tuned for that. And coming up here in just a few minutes, you're not going to believe what a city council candidate in Michigan said. The racist remarks, you just would not believe it. We'll get to that in a few minutes. I'm going to go back into my anxiety speech. I'll explain what that means coming up here in just a few minutes. But I did mention what this Andrew Luck retirement, what does that mean for sportsbooks? Well, Circa Sports moved the Chargers from -4 to -6 favorites in week 1 against the Colts. Now it's way up to 7.5. CG Technology also had the game at 4. The news broke. They reposted the game at 9.5. Also, if you bet on Andrew Luck to win the MVP, JD, in certain sportsbooks, they are refunding your money. What do you make of all this? I know the over/under on wins for the Colts have changed as well.
Well, I'm not real happy with the way that the sportsbooks are handling it, considering the fact that I had a wager on Zach Greinke to win the NL MVP or the NL Cy Young, and he was traded to the AL, and they didn't honor that, and that was a very unexpected thing. But I think they have a lot of action on this game, and they are giving the money back, but I want that to be consistent between the different situations.
Well, we'll have to get a sportsbook manager to come on because it's certainly a difference when somebody retires before the season starts and somebody gets injured in the middle of the season or traded to, that is different, but that is a legitimate
Absolutely.
question. And we will certainly get to the bottom of that. But again, if you had the over for wins on the Colts, you are screwed.
Yeah.
You are absolutely screwed.
I think it was 10.
You're not getting a refund on that.
9.5 or 10.
Yeah, you're not getting screwed.
And considering how widespread sports betting is right now in 16 new states, there's a lot of money out there on team totals.
No question. All right, so when we come back, a city council candidate in Michigan saying that she doesn't want interracial dating or marriage. She doesn't want any of those people in her community. You're not going to believe it, folks. It's unbelievable there are still people out there in our society. We'll talk about this next. The Vegas Take, 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Monday. Coming up, by the way, in about 30 minutes, Seth Moulton, former Democratic presidential candidate. Trump went after him over the weekend. Seth will respond on our show. And it's funny, I was just watching, we got CNN and Fox News up here in the studio. We got both televisions on, both channels. Guess who they're both talking about right now for the last 15, 20 minutes? Joe Walsh, the former GOP congressman who says he's going to challenge Trump in 2020. Guess who we have on the program tomorrow, folks? That's right. Joe Walsh is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow live at around 9:30, I believe. Exclusive interview with us, Joe Walsh. So that is going to be a lot of fun. So, we like to, I shouldn't say we like to, but I think it's important to call out racist, bigoted idiots. There is a city council candidate in Michigan said on Friday she had no plans to end her campaign after shocking a public forum when she said she wants to keep the community white as much as possible. She made the comment in response to a question about diversity in Marysville, which I guess is a city in St. Clair County. It's about 55 miles northeast of Detroit. So she was questioned by the media about those comments. And she also went on in these questions to explain how she feels about interracial marriage and couples.
Well, we like Marysville the way it is, but as far as having a black couple moving in, we have no problem with that. But where it's wrong is when you have a white woman and a black husband, a white wife and a black husband together. That's wrong, and vice versa.
Well, she sounds like a really smart person. Hey, if you're a black man and a black woman, sorry, I might be exaggerating her accent a little bit, but that's okay. I don't care. If you're a black man and a black woman, you can live in our city. That's fine. Oh, wow. How nice of her. Wow. She sounds like such a nice person. How nice of you to allow African Americans to come to your community, ma'am. How nice of you, Gene. Let me tell you something. If it's an interracial couple, they're not welcome here. What the hell is this? The slavery days? This woman is a city council candidate? Is she going to get one vote? Are you kidding me? Is this for real? What year is it? What is going on here? I am not for... Listen, let me tell you something. It's hard to even get through this segment because this woman is such an idiot. If you are If you're not for interracial couples for whatever reason, fine. If you believe in that, guess what? Don't marry someone or don't have a relationship with someone with a different skin color, different race. That is up to you. You have the right to do that. But to run for office and to push that on people saying that I want my community to be as white as possible. What is she running for? David Duke for the Klan? Oh my God! Her name is Jean Cramer, and now she's citing the Bible. I want to play this cut for those of you that cite the Bible all the time.
It's simply against the Bible. Like I was telling her, God created Adam and Eve, same kind, same race all around, and that's how He wants that. He's our example right there.
God created Adam and Eve, and they were both whiter than white. They're white folk, JD. Those Adam and Eve, they're whiter than white. I want white people in my community. It gives me anxiety. Those black people, they give me anxiety.
Were there photographers when Adam and Eve were strolling around the earth?
You know who this woman...
Is there any confirmation that Adam and Eve were Caucasian?
You know who this woman reminds me of? JD, you know who I'm going to say, right?
I know.
Our very good friend, Nancy Goodman. Remember this lady? She's the North Carolina resident who saw two African Americans, allegedly being loud in a restaurant. She went up to them and she called them the N-word, and then she defended herself and say she would do it again. This woman, Jean Cramer, reminds me of Nancy Goodman. Let's hear from Nancy. What does she think?
Hello, Nancy.
I'm a 71-year-old woman who lives in Raleigh. I suffer from tremendous anxiety.
She's got anxiety.
I'm not going to say I'm sorry to them.
I'm not going to say I'm sorry.
They kept pushing at it.
Those black people, they're pushing me.
That's all I really like to say.
What about your use of the N-word?
I used that word because they forced me into it.
They forced me. They forced me to use the N-word.
Oh, that's incredibly offensive.
Yes, I do. That's why I said it.
I said they forced me to say it.
I would say it again to them.
They forced me to say the N-word. My name is Nancy Goodman, and I'm going to vote for Jean Cramer. She's right. We want more white people in our community. My husband is a Klan member. I know he agrees. Isn't it sad, folks? I mean, we're having fun with this because it's sad, right? It's sad that there are people on this planet Earth, that the Jean Cramers of the world, the Nancy Goodmans of the world. By the way, JD referred to Nancy Goodman as Carolyn Goodman. We apologize. No, Carolyn Goodman, you are a wonderful mayor. You would never say something like that. Don't be confused with the Goodman.
I did definitely not do that. That is a low blow, Mr. Shapiro.
Can you believe this woman, Jean Cramer? And by the way, as far as you people that cite the Bible all the time, okay, and I'm not saying if you cite the Bible all the time, you're like this idiot, Jean Cramer, this racist pig. But to run for office, I don't care if it's a small town outside of Detroit or if it's the presidency of the United States. If you want your town or your city to be more white, and by the way, that is what she said. She said she wants her community to be white as much as possible. That's what she said. I want my community to be as white as possible.
Then she needs to move to Iceland.
Yeah. That's what she said, by the way. We're not making this up, folks. And then she doubled down and talked about interracial. Folks, she just doubled down. She said she doesn't want interracial couples in her community. I mean, what is going on here? Is David Duke running for city council?
I would imagine that they talk pretty consistently. Jean Cramer and David Duke, I imagine they're in touch quite oftenly.
We got this woman from North Carolina, we just played Nancy Goodman, saying, basically, black people give me anxiety. They made me say the N-word. And then you have this woman, Jean Cramer. There are a lot of Jean Cramers out there, sadly. Sadly, there are a lot of Nancy Goodmans out there. We just don't get them on audio.
I don't think there's as many as you would believe. There's definitely some. But that's the extremist mindset on both sides. It's on the right side. And
I'm not talking about politics. This has zero to do with politics.
But no, why does it not have anything to do with politics? This is ridiculous, ignorant racism. And here's the thing about racism right now.
I have not brought up Democrat or Republican in this conversation.
In 2019, it is literally the law of diminishing returns. It is just stupidity being racist, because in the next 15 to 20 years, and this is an absolute guarantee, Caucasians will be the overall minority. They will not be 51% of the United States' population.
Yeah, I don't care.
That's just the way it is. And
yeah,
so
but I don't care.
And so being racist right now is one of the most ridiculous things you could do. It does nothing but hurt you. It does not help you in any capacity.
But if 99.9% of the world was white, I still wouldn't condone any of this. So to me, that's academic. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care whether we're 49% or 51% or 80%. The point, you understand what I'm trying to make. I don't care who the minority is. It is disgusting what these women, the words that come out of their mouth. It is disgusting that this woman is even allowed to still run as a city council candidate. I mean, what would have happened if somebody said something like this in Las Vegas? This woman would be gone in a heartbeat. How is it that this woman is still even allowed to run? How is it that an open, proven racist bigot is allowed to run for office?
Well,
How?
And she's running on the premise of bigotry and racism.
She really is.
I mean, that's her campaign.
What is your... See, this is my issue, and I'm going to now interject politics into this. I don't know if this woman is a Republican or Democrat. I'm going to imagine she's a Republican.
She's absolutely Republican.
Yes, I would make that guess. But when people talk about, could anyone say, well, I like her policies. I don't agree with her rhetoric, but I like her policies. Does that remind you of somebody else? And listen, Donald Trump has said some very, very racially charged words in the past.
Nothing anywhere near this.
Nothing to this. I wouldn't say nothing near this. When you call Mexicans crossing the border rapists and bad people, and I suppose some of them are good people, I wouldn't say that's nowhere near this. When people chant "send her back" at a rally, that's not, I wouldn't say that's nowhere near this. When somebody at one of Donald Trump's rallies talks about killing an illegal crossing the border and he laughs about it and doesn't say, no, sir, we don't condone violence, I wouldn't say that's nowhere close to it. But how is this woman still running for city council? I guess you could make the we got Goodman, and no reference to the Goodmans in Las Vegas, by the way. We got Goodman, Nancy Goodman, who thinks it's okay to say the N-word to insult somebody. And then we have this woman who thinks it's okay to say we want our community to be more white. That's fine. That's okay. It just drives me crazy, folks, that there are people out there that are not only closet racists, but they're willing to come out and run for office and admit that they are racist, basically saying they want their community to be more white. It is disgusting. These people need to be called out. In this day and age of social media and everything else and the way the media works, make no mistake about it. This is not fake news. These people need to be called out and shamed. I saw a video on social media the other day where a woman gets into a car accident and hits a woman who was Asian. You wouldn't believe the things that came out of her mouth. She said, go back to your country. She called her words that I can't say on the radio. Luckily, this woman who was Asian videotaped it. It goes on social media, and then these people lose their jobs. And by the way, I am all for it. I am all for it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, April Ryan, the CNN political analyst who has been a reporter in the White House for a long time, who I have never been a fan of for a number of different reasons, well, she just proved I'm right. I'll explain why coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.